It's a truly magnificent biological irony that the very organs we rely on for objective, dispassionate data collection about the world around us, our eyes, are also the most flagrant involuntary billboards for our deepest, most private emotional states. We dedicate entire fields of study to optical physics, dissecting the precise mechanics of rods, cones, and crystalline lenses, all in service of understanding sight. Yet these exquisitely complex visual instruments routinely betray our fear, lust, joy, or disgust with a mere twitch of a muscle, a subtle shift in the iris, or an almost imperceptible widening of a pupil.
Evolution, in its infinite, sometimes absurd wisdom, designed an advanced visual processing system, and then, apparently, decided it would also function as an unregulatable emotional broadcast antenna, a glaring vulnerability in the otherwise impenetrable fortress of our internal self. Why would such a critical sensory apparatus, honed over millions of years for survival through keen observation, also come preloaded with a perpetual tell for every passing sentiment? It's a design flaw that, by all rational accounts, should have been ironed out of our genetic code. Yet here we stand, our intentions laid bare with every surprised blink or narrowed gaze.
This persistent paradox, the eyes as both objective observers and subjective betrayers, begs a deeper examination into the intricate, often bizarre dance between our biology and our emotional landscape. A dance that, for reasons we have yet to fully explain, relies on the most visible part of our face to articulate the unspeakable.
The most immediate and involuntary tells of our emotional state often manifest in the pupils, those dark, seemingly inert apertures at the center of our irises. Their expansion or contraction is not a conscious choice, but a direct, unfiltered communique from the autonomic nervous system, a primitive relay station bypassing the intellect entirely. When we experience fear, surprise, attraction, or even intense cognitive load, the sympathetic nervous system kicks into gear, flooding our bloodstream with norepinephrine and cortisol. This biochemical cascade triggers the dilator muscles of the iris, pulling the pupil open to allow more light in, a vestige of our ancestral fight-or-flight response to sharpen peripheral vision for impending threats. Conversely, states of relaxation, contentment, or focused attention can activate the parasympathetic system, causing the sphincter muscles to contract, constricting the pupil. Poker players know this, police interrogators are trained to spot it. Even subtle shifts, a microdilation barely visible to the naked eye, can betray a flicker of interest or a nascent deception, occurring at speeds far too rapid for conscious suppression. Beyond this pupil reflex, the human sclera, the whites of our eyes, presents another peculiar evolutionary anomaly. Most primates possess dark sclera, camouflaging their gaze. Humans, uniquely, boast bright white sclera, contrasting sharply with the iris and pupil, making the direction of our gaze incredibly easy to follow. This anatomical oddity is central to the cooperative eye hypothesis, suggesting that our conspicuous sclera evolved not for better vision, but for better social communication, allowing us to accurately gauge another's focus, intent, and, crucially, their emotional state from a distance, facilitating complex group dynamics and shared attention, a silent, involuntary semaphore system.
Beneath the superficial changes of pupil and sclera lies a more complex, neurologically orchestrated choreography involving the periorbital muscles, those intricate bundles of tissue surrounding the eye socket that sculpt our most nuanced expressions. Take the orbicularis oculi, for instance. This muscle encircles the eye, and its contractions are responsible for the crinkling at the corners of our eyes, famously known as crow's feet. When we genuinely smile, a phenomenon known as the Duchenne smile, the zygomatic major muscle pulls up the corners of the mouth, but simultaneously and crucially, the outer part of the orbicularis oculi contracts involuntarily, lifting the cheeks and creating those distinctive wrinkles.
A fake smile, in contrast, often only involves the mouth, leaving the eyes relatively inert, a telltale sign of insincerity. This involuntary muscular activation is governed by deep-seated limbic system pathways, particularly the amygdala, a primal brain structure heavily involved in processing emotions like fear, anger, and pleasure. The amygdala directly influences the motor neurons controlling these facial muscles, bypassing the cortical regions responsible for conscious thought and deliberate action.
When we witness something shocking, the wide-eyed expression isn't merely a reflex. It's a direct amygdala-driven signal, activating the levator palpebrae superioris to lift the eyelids and the frontal muscle to raise the eyebrows, maximizing visual input while simultaneously broadcasting alarm. These micro-expressions around the eyes, fleeting and often lasting mere milliseconds, are incredibly difficult to suppress, functioning as a window into the brain's unfiltered emotional response before conscious thought can intervene. This seemingly disadvantageous trait, the constant broadcast of our internal state, was, in fact, an ingenious evolutionary trade-off, a critical linchpin for the development of complex human social structures. For early hominids living in precarious environments, the ability to instantly and accurately gauge the emotional state of a tribal member was paramount. Is that wide-eyed gaze a warning of a hidden predator? Is that softened, crinkled eye expression a sign of genuine comfort and trust, indicating a safe ally for resource sharing or child rearing?
Without language, or even with rudimentary forms of it, these nonverbal cues delivered by the eyes provided an undeniable, hardwired channel of communication, fostering empathy, cooperation, and the rapid formation of cohesive groups. The cost of revealing personal vulnerability through our eyes was overwhelmingly outweighed by the collective benefit of enhanced group coordination and survival. In a hunt, the leader's subtle eye movement could direct the entire group without uttering a sound. In a conflict, the flicker of fear in an opponent's eyes could signal weakness or resolve. This ancient biological imperative continues to resonate in modern society. In high-stakes negotiations, a slight pupil dilation might betray interest. During a job interview, the genuine warmth conveyed by a Duchenne smile, evidenced by the eyes, can build rapport beyond the rehearsed answers. Our eyes, therefore, did not evolve to be perfect poker faces. They evolved to be perfect instruments of social connection, fostering a level of trust and shared understanding that transcends words, acting as an involuntary truth serum in the grand human experiment. The pervasive influence of our emotionally expressive eyes extends far beyond mere biology and into the bedrock of human culture, art, and philosophy. From ancient proverbs to contemporary cinema, the phrase, "the eyes are the windows to the soul," echoes across civilizations, a testament to our intuitive understanding of this biological reality. Poets have forever woven narratives around sparkling eyes of joy, haunted eyes of sorrow, or the cold, calculating gaze of malice, recognizing the profound communicative power residing in these small orbicular canvases. Visual artists meticulously render the subtle play of light and shadow around the eyes to convey emotion, knowing that a single brushstroke can transform an expression from benign to malevolent. Economically, entire industries, from makeup to cosmetic surgery, capitalize on enhancing or altering the perception of the eyes, aware of their central role in first impressions and social signaling. Yet, the profound irony persists. These windows to the soul are not voluntary portals. They are involuntary broadcasts, a biological default setting that bypasses our conscious control. A silent language spoken by millions of individual muscle fibers and neurotransmitter surges. We might try to consciously control our expressions, to cultivate a stone-cold poker face, but the subtle unconscious tells, the microdilation, the genuine crinkle, the almost imperceptible tremor of the eyelid, remain, a persistent whisper from our ancient limbic brain that can never be entirely silenced. Our eyes betray us, not out of weakness, but out of an evolutionary necessity for connection, a fundamental design choice that prioritized social cohesion over individual secrecy, leaving us forever beholden to the inconvenient truth that what we truly feel is often seen long before it is ever spoken.